Hello students, we are doing the book Human Geography and we are on the fourth chapter. So today we'll do human development growth. Let's begin with the chapter. Before understanding human development properly, you have to know two words. So the two words are growth and development. Now if you look around us, trees, plants, humans, cities also, they all are growing and developing. But there's a difference between growth and development. Can you think of difference? What's the difference between growth and development? Think for a while. See, growth is quantitative, development is qualitative. Let me explain this difference between the two. If I give you an example of a child, two children, both have grown to an age of 8 years. Now they both are 8 years old. The first child has been living in the slum area, does not have educational facility or medical facilities. The second child has been going to school, is getting all the life chances. So the first child has only grown and the second child has grown as well as developed. So development is positive. Growth can be negative or positive. It is value neutral. So this is the major difference between growth and development. Another example, I'll give you an example of a city. Now Rajkot city, it has grown. Earlier it was not touching Gondal, now it is almost touching the Gondal town. So it has grown in size. Now with the growth of the city, if the roads are not developed, if the facilities are not developed, so we'll not call it a developed city. We'll just say the city has grown. So growth is quantitative and development is qualitative. Earlier, we were just emphasizing on the economic development of every country. Later on, because of the efforts of Dr. Huq and Professor Amartya Sen of India, Huq is from Pakistan, he was a Pakistani economist. These two together defined the term human development. According to Dr. Huq, human development, which is now emphasized like the human economic development, human development is the process of enlarging people's choice and improving their lives. Process of enlarging people's choice. Understand this now. Now again I'll give you an example of a child. Maybe he is the first child. Okay, I told you he's grown to the age of 8 years. Now he's not gone to school. Now when he grows up, even if he suppose he remains illiterate, so his choices in life will be limited. He wants to be an pilot, he wants to go into the army. Will he be able to go without education? The answer is no, because his opportunities, his life chances have got limited because he didn't get the education. His standard of living was low, his health facilities were not given to him, so health also low. So that is why Dr. Huq says human development is the process of enlarging people's choice. Like if I want to do something, I should be able to do it. Nothing should come in my way. So that means my choice is enlarged. On the other hand, if some other individual is there, that other individual wants to go on excursions, wants to pursue the profession of that person's choice, but is not able to because of some limitation, that means that person's choice is limited, is not enlarged. Understood this? So important aspects of human development is long and healthy life, the health. Second is gaining knowledge, that is education. And third is decent standard of living. So a person, if I say a country's human development is high, that means I'm meaning that the citizens of that country have a long and healthy life, they are educated, they have a lot of knowledge, they have gained knowledge. And third is they are living a very good standard of their standard of living is very good. People's building capacities in the areas of health, education, access to resources is therefore important in enlarging their choice or their freedom, you call it. Professor Amartya Sen of India saw an increase in freedom as the main objective of development. So according to Professor Amartya Sen of India, he said that along with economic development, human development is equally important, and that can be achieved if all the citizens of India are healthy, educated, and are living a decent standard of life. Now, imagine your life if there was no education, no basic facilities provided to you. Then would your life be meaningful? If you want to do so many things in life and you're not able to do it, that means your life is meaningless. You're not leading a meaningful life. So for people to live meaningful life, they should have enlarged choices. They should be able to do what they want. That means the country in which they are living will have high human development. Now there are 4 main pillars of human development. First is equity, sustainability, productivity, empowerment. These are the 4 pillars of human development. Equity means equal access to opportunities available to everybody. Equal means every citizen of the country should have equal access, should have the way to get all the opportunities which is available to us. So everyone should have fair chance to all the opportunities of the country. That is equity. Irrespective means they belong to any caste, any gender, any class, but they should all get equal opportunities. That means equity. Second is sustainability. Sustain means to continue. Okay, so sustainability means continuity in the availability of opportunities or chances. So the people of a country which has high human development, they should get opportunities. They should continue to get opportunities or life chances and should be able to lead a continuous life. Not that for 1 or 2 years they're leading a good life, then later on the life becomes bad. So sustainability is the second pillar of human development. Third is productivity. Productivity means in terms of human labor. Productivity should be constantly enriched. That means the skills, the labors of the country should be polished or should be increased or should be becoming more efficient. So productivity is the third pillar. Last is empowerment. Empowerment is the last pillar. That means government should make policies, government of the country which aims to have high human development, the government of that country should make such policies which are made accordingly, so that the people of that country, their welfare is looked into. So you should remember all the 4 pillars: equity, sustainability, productivity and empowerment. Now next is approaches to human development. How do we look at the ways of looking at the human development? There are 4 approaches, namely income approach, welfare approach, basic needs approach and capability approach. The income approach. Now this is the oldest approach. Approach means the way you look at something or your way of looking, that is approach. So 4 approaches are there, like the 4 pillars. There are again 4 approaches to look at human development. So first is income approach. It's the oldest traditional approach of looking at human development. It is linked to income. According to this, if the country's all citizens, their income is really good or very high, that means that country has high human development. It says that higher the income, higher the human development. Very simple. Next is welfare approach. This approach argues for higher government expenditure on education, health, social amenities. According to this approach, government should maximize expenditure on welfare. So this approach says that the government is totally responsible for the welfare of the citizens of that country. So the government should make such policies and should govern in such a way that the welfare of all the citizens, all the residents of that country is looked into. That's the second approach, the welfare approach. Third is the basic needs approach. Basic needs approach. This was proposed by ILO. ILO is International Labour Organization. According to this approach, the basic needs, that is health, education, third food, fourth water, fifth sanitation, and sixth housing. These basic things, if they are provided to the citizen, that means the citizens are having a wide choice. The main thing of human development, that people have wide choice, opportunities. So if these basic things are available, that means people have wider choices, they are living a good life, their health is good, so human development is there. So this is the third approach, basic needs approach. And the last is capability approach. Capability approach, this is associated with Professor Amartya Sen. This approach aims to build human capabilities in areas of health, education, and access to resources in order to increase human development. So this approach says that if we want the human development of a country to increase, then what we have to do is we have to increase the capability of the citizens. If we increase the capability, the skills of the residents of a country, automatically the human development will also be there in that country. This is also correct. So there are different approaches to human development. Now, measuring human development. How do we measure human development? Means how do we come to know? Measure means how do we realize that this country is high human development, this country is low in human development, or this country is very moderate or medium. Now, to measure human development, again just recall the definition of human development. Definition of human development is, human development means enlarging people's choice. Just remember this word, enlarging people's choice. Okay, till now we've done that. So it is measured, human development index, HDI is human development index. It ranks the countries between 0 to 1 on the performance in the following areas. Foremost thing is health, education, and access to resources. If the citizens of the country are healthy, are leading a very healthy life, and the medical facilities are really good, that means the human development will be high. Along with health, the second thing is education, which is very important. The literacy rates of the people should be high. Third is access to resources. Resources means anything which is useful to human beings. Resource means anything. So if I belong to a country with very high human development, so I'll be very healthy, I'll be educated, and I'll be having all the access to whatever I want, all the resources. These three things are there. HDI means human development index. You have to remember the short form, full form. Another concept is the human poverty index. This is the shortfall, we can define like that. It measures the shortfall in human development. It's a non-income measure. This measures the shortfall on the following basis. Not surviving till the age of 40. Now health is an important factor in deciding how developed, how is the human development in a country. So if the life expectancy is low, that means the health facilities are low, the health is not good. So if the probability of not surviving, means HPI is human poverty, and it's the opposite of HDI, human development index. Adult literacy rate, if the adult literacy rate is low, that means poverty is there. Number of people who don't have access to clean drinking water, the basic facilities, if it's not provided to the citizens of the country, the basic thing like drinking water also, that means human development is not there in the country. Next is number of small children who are underweight. So if children are underweight, that means there is malnourishment in the country. That also means there is poverty. So HPI. Clear? Next is gross national happiness. So Bhutan, GNH. Gross national happiness is GNH. Bhutan is the only country in the world to officially measure country's progress in terms of GNH. Isn't that interesting? See, it's a nice thing. This simply means material progress cannot come at the cost of happiness. GNH encourages us to think of the spiritual, non-material, qualitative aspect of development. Next is international comparisons. International comparisons of human development. Now we all will think that if the country is very developed, like economically very advanced, technologically very advanced, then the people of that country will have high human development. But it's not necessary. It depends on the government, or it depends on the policy of that country. Like not necessary, like there are many small countries also who are doing better than the large countries, or there are many countries who are not technologically, economically very powerful, but when you look at the human development side, they may be ahead. So it does not guarantee that if you are technologically advanced, or you are very powerful economically, then the human development of that country will be high. It depends on the government. Some poorer nations have been ranked higher than the richer neighboring countries. Countries are classified into 4 groups on the basis of the human development scores. Now when we are measuring the human development, it is between 0 to 1. Now if a country is having a score 0.98 and the other country is having a score 0.01, so 98 is closer, so the country with 0.98 will have higher human development than the other country. So the scores, remember, are always between 0 to 1 when we are measuring human development. Now the countries with very high human development, they have usually scores of above 0.802. Example of countries with high human development are Norway, Australia, Switzerland. Countries in this group are mostly former imperial powers, means these countries have been earlier, these are those countries which have been earlier in the olden times been very powerful. Most of these countries with high human development index are located in the Western world. Western world means the western part of the world. And these countries have high human development because the government of these countries have invested more in the social sector. And these countries are free from the political turmoil. Political turmoil means political disturbance. They don't have any kind of instability or political disturbance. That is why they were able to concentrate on the HDI. Next is countries with high human development. Their measurement is between 0.702 to 0.8. In this, 56 countries of the world are there. These countries also doing well. They provide education, healthcare to their citizens, and a lot is invested in the social sector. Next is medium level of human development, that is between 0.5 to 0.7. In this, 39 countries of the world come. These countries have emerged after the Second World War, means developed fully or are independent after the Second World War. Because why are we saying this? Because before Second World War, many countries were under another powerful country. Next is low levels of human development, that is below 0.5. And in the world, 44 countries are like that, and these are those countries mainly which have been having a civil war. They are politically not stable. They are facing many epidemics, diseases. So these countries have not been able to concentrate on the social sector, and the condition of the people staying there is very, very bad. Now it's on you people to do this homework. Find out, we've already done this, find out India's rank in the human development and what is the score of India. You'll find it interesting. Do this as the homework and read this chapter from the book also. And if you have any queries, you can always contact me anytime. Thank you and have a very nice day. Enjoy.